Hey guys, hello. Hope you guys are doing well. Happy Sunday, happy Monday, depending on where you're at. I hope you had a great weekend and is ready to start a new week. As I mentioned on Twitter, I'm trying out something new today. I don't think this is considered ASMR. I guess it kind of is. But I'll be reading some stories, some short stories to help you relax and maybe get ready to bed or just have a calming time to unwind from the previous week and get ready for the new one. So, there will most likely be scuff, since this is my first time doing this, but I do hope you guys enjoy. Something that I thought about for a while, but haven't really taken action, and I just kind of suddenly decided to do it today. It just felt right, so yeah. I'll be reading stories from Grimm's fairy tale today. I wanted to start with something shorter. Today's stream's probably not gonna be too long since it's kind of like a guerrilla impromptu stream that I didn't really prepare that much for. I just wanted to give it a try before I have more considerate plans for it. Give me 1 second. Okay, I don't know if you guys can hear the heater, but the heater in my apartment just turned on, so I hope that's not bothering you guys. I do have a noise gate on, so hopefully that will make things a little easier. Well, yeah, so I'll just be reading something and hopefully it'll help you relax and calm down for a little bit. So the first story would be The Elves and the Shoemaker. There was once a shoemaker who worked very hard and was very honest, but still he could not earn enough to live upon, and at last all he had in the world was gone, save just leather enough to make one pair of shoes. Then he cut his leather out, all ready to make up the next day, meaning to rise early in the morning to his work. His conscience was clear, and his heart light amidst all his troubles. So he went peacefully to bed, left all his cares to heaven, and soon fell asleep. In the morning, after he had said his prayers, he sat himself down to his work, when, to his great wonder, there stood the shoes all ready made upon the table. The good man knew not what to say or think at such an odd thing happening. He looked at the workmanship. There was not one false stitch in the whole job. All was so neat and true that it was quite a masterpiece. The same day a customer came in, and the shoes suited him so well that he willingly paid a price higher than usual for them. And the poor shoemaker, with the money, bought leather enough to make 2 pairs more. In the evening, he cut out the work and went to bed early, that he might get up and begin betimes the next day. When he was saved all the trouble, for when he got up in the morning, the work was done ready to his hand. Soon in came buyers who paid him handsomely for his goods, so that he bought leather enough for 4 pair more. He cut out the work again overnight and found it done in the morning as before, and so it went on for some time. What was got ready in the evening was already always done by daybreak, and the good men soon became thriving and well off again. Hi, Uni. Hello, how are you? I'm just reading some stories today, and I'm reading The Elves and the Shoemaker from Grimm's fairy tale. One evening, about Christmas time, as he and his wife were sitting over the fire chatting together, he said to her, "I should like to sit up and watch tonight, that we may see who it is that comes and does my work for me." The wife liked the thought, so they left a light burning and hid themselves in a corner of the room, behind a curtain that was hung up there, and watched what would happen. As soon as it was midnight, there came in 2 little naked dwarfs, and they sat themselves upon the shoemaker's bench, took all the work that was cut out, and began to ply with their little fingers, stitching and wrapping and tapping away at such a rate that the shoemaker was all wonder and could not take his eyes off them. And on they went till the job was quite done, and the shoes stood ready for use upon the table. This was long before daybreak, and then they bustled away as quick as lightning. The next day the wife said to the shoemaker, "These little wights have made us rich, and we ought to be thankful to them, and do them a good turn if we can. I am quite sorry to see them run about as they do, and indeed it is not very decent, for they have nothing upon their backs to keep off the cold. I'll tell you what, I will make each of them a shirt, and a coat, and a waistcoat, and a pair of pantaloons into the bargain, and do you make each of them a little pairs of shoes." The thought pleased the good cobbler very much, and one evening, when all the things were ready, they laid them on the table, instead of the work that they used to cut out, and then went and hid themselves to watch what the little elves would do. About midnight in they came, dancing and skipping, hopped around the room, and then went to sit down to their work as usual. But when they saw the clothes lying for them, they laughed and chuckled, and seemed mightily delighted. Then they dressed themselves in the twinkling of an eye, and danced and capered and sprang about as merry as could be, till at last they danced out at the door and away over the green. The good couple saw them no more, but everything went well with them from that time forward, as long as they lived. Well, that was The Elves and the Shoemaker. I think I used to hear my mom read the stories to me several times, a lot of times, probably more than several, when I was a child. It's a cute short story, pretty nice one, heartwarming, cute little elves, naked little elves. Let's see what else I can read. We can start with like the shorter ones. I think I saw one that's really short. The Fox and the Cat. I don't believe I read this before, so let's see. The Fox and the Cat. It happened that the cat met the fox in the forest, and as she thought to herself, he is clever and full of experience, and much esteemed in the world. She spoke to him in a friendly way. "Good day, dear Mr. Fox. How are you?" How is all with you? How are you getting on in these hard times?" The fox, full of all kinds of arrogance, looked at the cat from head to foot, and for a long time did not know whether he would give any answer or not. At last he said, "Oh, you wretched beard cleaner, you peopled fool, you hungry mouse hunter, what can you be thinking of? Have you the cheek to ask how I am getting on? What have you learned? How many arts do you understand?" "I understand but one," replied the cat modestly. "What art is that?" asked the fox. "When the hounds are following me, I can spring into a tree and save myself." "Is that all?" said the fox. "I am master of 100 arts, and have into the bargain a sack full of cunning. You make me sorry for you. Come with me. I will teach you how people get away from the hounds." Just then came a hunter with 4 dogs. The cat sprang nimbly up a tree, and sat down at the top of it, where the branches and foliage quite concealed her. "Open your sack, Mr. Fox, open your sack," cried the cat to him. But the dogs had already seized him, and were holding him fast. "Ah, Mr. Fox," cried the cat, "you with your 100 arts are left in the lurch. Had you been able to climb like me, you would not have lost your life." Let's see. I'm like thinking if I should read one that I have read or something that I have never read. Well, there's one that's called The Traveling Musicians. Maybe I can read it. It's a little bit longer than the one that I just read, but you can see it's like a middle-sized story. Can try to do that one. The Traveling Musicians. An honest farmer had once an ass that had been a faithful servant to him a great many years, but was now growing old and every day more and more unfit for work. His master, therefore, was tired of keeping him, and began to think of putting an end to him. But the ass, who saw that some mischief was in the wind, took himself slyly off, and began his journey towards the great city, for there, thought he, I may turn musician. "Hi, Yoko, how are you? Hello, hello. You're gonna go get food? Enjoy your food, enjoy your dinner. Thank you for stopping by." After he had traveled a little way, he spied a dog lying by the roadside and panting as if he were tired. "What makes you pant so, my friend?" said the ass. What exactly is... Give me 1 second. Okay, so we're talking about the like kind of like donkey, kind of like and as I was like, what is it talking about? Okay. "Alas," said the dog, "my master was going to knock me on the head, because I am old and weak, and can no longer make myself useful to him in hunting. So I ran away. But what can I do to earn my livelihood?" "Hark ya," said the ass, I'm going to the great city to turn musician. Suppose you go with me and try what you can do in the same way." The dog said he was willing, and they jogged on together. They had not gone far before they saw a cat sitting in the middle of the road and making a most rueful face. "Pray, my good lady," said the ass, "what's the matter with you? You look quite out of spirits." "Ah, me," said the cat. "How can one be in good spirits when one's life is in danger? Because I am beginning to grow old, and had rather lie at my ease by the fire, than run about the house after the mice. My mistress laid hold of me, and was going to drown me. And though I have been lucky enough to get away from her, I do not know what I am to live upon." "Oh," said the ass, "by all means go with us to the great city. You are a good night singer, and may make your fortune as a musician." The cat was pleased with the thought, and joined the party. Soon afterwards, as they were passing by a farmyard, they saw a cock perched upon a gate, and screaming out with all his might and main. "Bravo!" said the ass. "Upon my word, you make a famous noise. Pray, what is all this about?" "Why," said the cock, "I was just now saying that we should have fine weather for our washing day, and yet my mistress and the cook don't thank me for my pains, but threaten to cut off my head tomorrow, and make broth of me for the guests that are coming on Sunday." "Heaven forbid," said the ass. "Come with us, Master Chanticleer. It will be better, at any rate, than staying here to have your head cut off. Besides, who knows? If we care to sing in tune, we may get up some kind of a concert, so come along with us." "With all my heart," said the cock. So they all four went on jollily together. They could not, however, reach the great city the first day, so when the night came on, they went into a wood to sleep. The ass and the dog laid themselves down under a great tree, and the cat climbed up into the branches, while the cock, thinking that the higher he sat the safer he should be, flew up to the very top of the tree, and then, according to his custom, before he went to sleep, looked out all sides of him to see what everything was well. In doing this, he saw far off something bright and shining, and calling to his companions, said, "There must be a house no great way off." "For I see a light." "If that be the case," said the ass, "we had better change our quarters, for our lodging is not the best in the world. Besides," added the dog, "I should not be the worse for a bone or two, or a bit of meat." So they walked off together towards the spot where Chanticleer had seen the light, and as they drew near it, became larger and brighter, till they at last came close to a house in which a gang of robbers lived. The ass, being the tallest of the company, marched up to the window and peeped in. "Well, donkey," said Chanticleer, "what do you see?" "What do I see?" replied the ass. "Why, I see a table spread with all kinds of good things, and robbers sitting around it making merry." "That would be a noble lodging for us," said the cock. "Yes," said the ass, "if we could only get in." So they consulted together how they should contrive to get the robbers out, and at last they hit upon a plan. The ass placed himself upright on his hind legs, with his 4 feet resting against the window. The dog got upon his back, the cat scrambled up to the dog's shoulders, and the cock flew up and sat upon the cat's head. When all was ready, a signal was given, and they began their music. The ass brayed, the dog barked, the cat mewed, and the cock screamed. And then they all broke through the window at once and came tumbling into the room amongst that broken glass. With a most hideous clatter, the robbers, who had been not a little frightened by the opening concert, had now no doubt that some frightful hobgoblin had broken in upon them and scampered away as fast as they could. Welcome back, Yoko. The coast once clear, our travelers soon sat down and dispatched what the robbers had left, with as much eagerness as if they had not expected to eat again for a month. As soon as they had satisfied themselves, they put out the lights, and each once more sought out a resting place to his own liking. The donkey laid himself down upon a heap of straw in the yard. The dog stretched himself upon a mat behind the door. The cat rolled herself up on the hearth before the warm ashes, and the cock perched upon a beam on the top of the house. And as they were all rather tired with their journey, they soon fell asleep. But about midnight, when the robbers saw from afar that their lights were out and all seemed quiet, they began to think that they had been in too great a hurry to run away, and one of them, who was bolder than the rest, went to see what was going on. Finding everything still, he marched into the kitchen and groped about till he found a match in order to light a candle, and then, espying the glittering fiery eyes of the cat, he mistook them for live coals and held the match to them to light it. But the cat, not understanding the joke, sprang at his face and spat and scratched at him. This frightened him dreadfully, and away he ran to the back door. But there the dog jumped up and bit him in the leg, and as he was crossing over the yard, the ass kicked him, and the cock, who had been awakened by the noise, crowed with all his might. At this the robber ran back as fast as he could to his comrade, and told the captain how a horrid witch had got into the house, and had spat at him and scratched his face with her long bony fingers, how a man with a knife in his hand had hidden himself behind the door, and stabbed him in the leg, how a black monster stood in the yard and struck him with a club, and how the devil had sat upon the top of the house and cried out, "Throw the rascal up here." After this, the robbers never dared to go back to the house, but the musicians were so pleased with their quarters that they took up their abode there, and there they are, I dare say, at this very day. How are you, Yoko? How was your weekend? Hope it was good. It's the dove bread. Yeah, your weekend, how was it? Did you have a nice weekend? Oh yeah, you're still recovering from the cold. Yeah, you told me about it yesterday. That's good. I'm glad you're starting to get your energy back. It's good to know. Well, hopefully you'll be well enough to go back to work tomorrow. Sending you the energy. The one that I just read is The Traveling Musicians. I've never read this one before. Oh, that's a different one. But yeah, I think this is my first time. And the stories that I'm reading are from Grimm's fairy tale. So they're pretty old. Let's see. Well, there's Rapunzel. I actually don't really know the original version of Rapunzel. Let's read this one. Yeah, I know the story of Rapunzel, and then of course there's Tangled, but I don't really know like the original version in Grimm's fairy tale, so it'd be nice to just read it. There were once a man and a woman who had long in vain wished for a child. At length the woman hoped that God was about to grant her desire. These people had a little window at the back of their house from which a splendid garden could be seen, which was full of the most beautiful flowers and herbs. It was, however, surrounded by a high wall, and no one dared to go into it because it belonged to an enchantress who had great power and was dreaded by all the world. One day the woman was standing by this window and looking down into the garden, when you saw a bed which was planted with the most beautiful rampion, Rapunzel, and it looked so fresh and green, and she longed for it. She quite pined away and began to look pale and miserable. Then her husband was alarmed and asked, "What ails you, dear wife?" "Ah," she replied, "if I can't eat some of the rampion, which is in the garden behind our house, I shall die." The man, who loved her, thought, "Sooner than let your wife die, bring her some of the rampion yourself, let it cost what it will." At twilight, he clambered down over the wall into the garden of the enchantress, hastily clutched a handful of rampion, and took it to his wife. She at once made herself a salad of it and ate it greedily. It tasted so good to her, so very good, that the next day she longed for it 3 times as much as before. If he was to have any rest, her husband must once more descend into the garden in the gloom of evening. Therefore, he let himself down again. But when he had clambered down the wall, he was terribly afraid, for he saw the enchantress standing before him. "How can you dare," said she with angry look, "descend into my garden and steal my rampion like a thief? You shall suffer for it." "Ah," answered him, "let mercy take the place of justice. I only made up my mind to do it out of necessity. My wife saw your rampion from the window, and felt such a longing for it that she would have died if she had not got some to eat." Then the enchantress allowed her anger to be softened, and said to him, "If the case be as you say, I will allow you to take with you as much rampion as you will. Only I make one condition. You must give me the child which your wife will bring into the world. It shall be well treated, and I will care for it like a mother." The man in his terror consented to everything, and when the woman was brought to bed, the enchantress appeared at once, gave the child the name of Rapunzel, and took it away from her. Rapunzel grew into the most beautiful child under the sun. When she was 12 years old, the enchantress shut her into a tower which lay in a forest, and had neither stairs nor door, but quite at the top was a little window. When the enchantress wanted to go in, she placed herself beneath it and cried, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair to me." Rapunzel had magnificent long hair, fine as spun gold, and when she heard the voice of the enchantress, she unfastened her braided tress wound them round one of the hooks of the window above, and then the hair fell 20 ells down, and the enchantress climbed up by it. After a year or two, it came to pass that the king's son rode through the forest and passed by the tower. Then he heard a song, which was so charming that he stood still and listened. This was Rapunzel, who in her solitude passed her time in letting her sweet voice resound. The king's son wanted to climb up to her and look for the door of the tower, but none was to be found. He rode home, but the singing had so deeply touched his heart that every day he went out into the forest and listened to it. Once when he was thus standing behind a tree, he saw that an enchantress came there, and he heard how she cried, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair to me." Then Rapunzel let down the braids of her hair, and the enchantress climbed up to her. "If that is the ladder by which one mounts, I too will try my fortune," said he. And the next day, when it began to grow dark, he went to the tower and cried, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair to me." Immediately, the hair fell down and the king's son climbed up. At first, Rapunzel was terribly frightened when a man, such as her eyes had never yet beheld, came to her. But the king's son began to talk to her quite like a friend, and told her that his heart had been so stirred that it had let him have no rest, and he had been forced to see her. Then Rapunzel lost her fear, and when he asked her if she would take him for her husband, and she saw that he was young and handsome, she thought, "He will love me more than old Dame Gothel does." And she said yes, and laid her hand in his. She said, "I will willingly go away with you, but I do not know how to get down. Bring with you all skein of silk every time that you come, and I will weave a ladder with it. And when that is ready, I will descend, and you will take me on your horse." They agreed that until that time he should come to her every evening, for the old woman came by day. The enchantress remarked nothing of this, until once Rapunzel said to her, "Tell me, Dame Gothel, how it happens that you are so much heavier for me to draw up than the young king's son. He is with me in a moment." "Ah, you wicked child!" cried the enchantress. "What do I hear you say? I thought I had separated you from all the world, and yet you have deceived me." In her anger, she clutched Rapunzel's beautiful tresses, wrapped them twice around her left hand, seized a pair of scissors with the right, and snip, snap, they were cut off. And the lovely braids lay on the ground, and she was so pitiless that she took poor Rapunzel into the desert, where she had to live in a great grief and misery. On the same day that she cast out Rapunzel, however, the enchantress fastened the braids of hair, which she had cut off, to the hook of the window, and when the king's son came and cried, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair to me," she let the hair down. The king's son ascended, but instead of finding his dearest Rapunzel, he found the enchantress, who gazed at him with wicked and venomous looks. "Aha!" she cried mockingly. "You would fetch your dearest, but the beautiful bird sits no longer singing in the nest. The cat has caught it, and will scratch out your eyes as well. Rapunzel is lost to you. You will never see her again." The king's son was beside him with pain. In his despair, he leaped down from the tower. He escaped with his life, but the thorns into which he fell pierced his eyes. Then he wandered quite blind around the forest, ate nothing but roots and berries, and did naught but lament and weep over the loss of his dearest wife. Thus he roamed about in misery for some years, and at length came to the desert where Rapunzel, with the twins to which she had given birth, a boy and a girl, lived in wretchedness. He heard a voice, and it seemed so familiar to him that he went towards it. And when he approached, Rapunzel knew him and fell on his neck and wept. Two of her tears wetted his eyes, and they grew clear again, and he could see with them as before. He led her to his kingdom, where he was joyfully received, and they lived for a long time afterwards, happy and contented. I mean, at the end, it was kind of a happy ending. It was sad in the middle. I am a little confused by why Rapunzel has two children, but yeah, at the end, I would say it's yeah, she was carrying twins, so I guess the part is more like, so when the king's son visited Rapunzel, they probably did something, or else she would not be pregnant. But okay. At the end, it was a happy ending, so yeah. But I didn't know that in the original story, Rapunzel also had magic power with her tears. I mean, in the in Tangle, her it's her it's her hairs, right? I don't think her tears did anything, unless I forgot something critical. Oh yeah, so her oh yeah, so after when her hair was cut off, it was her tears. Okay, yeah, so there was it was yeah, I know Grimm's fairy tale, and like the actual fairy tales are pretty interesting. Like the original ones, um they are different from a lot of like the usually the bedtime stories are a little bit sugar coated and make it a bit more family friendly, I would say. And also hi, falling for welcome. Oh, and thank you Scrumped for the hydration routine. I will drink some water before I start the next story. Yeah, true love's first kiss, tears of love, the kiss that can bring people back to life, and as such. Yes, I have hydration. Remember to drink some water too. Keep yourself hydrated. It's important. Let's see. I think there was one that I wanted to read when I started the stream, but I don't remember. Let's see. There is one. Well, the first one is the golden bird. I don't know if I have ever read it before. Maybe we can read it. It's a little longer. It's a little longer, but I guess that's okay too. Yeah, let's read that. I'm just picking random stories because I'm not. I mean, there's also well, there's also the Golden Goose, which is slightly shorter. I might just read the first one because I don't know the story. I mean, it's nice. I haven't read anything for a while, so it's nice to just read random stuff. I am enjoying this. I'm glad that you are enjoying the fireplace crackling. I thought it'd be a little more comfortable with that in the background, so I found one. Also, it started snowing where I am today, so fireplace makes sense. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna start the next story. The Golden Bird. You grew up on a wood stove, so this is perfect. I'm glad that you like it. Yeah, I feel like I love fireplaces. I don't have one in my apartment now because, well, it's an apartment, but we used to have that at home and it's nice. On. Okay, the Golden Bird. A certain king had a beautiful garden, and in the garden stood a tree which bore golden apples. These apples were always counted, and about the time when they began to grow ripe, it was found that every night one of them was gone. The king became very angry at this, and ordered that the gardener to keep watch all night under the tree. The gardener set his eldest son to watch, but about 12 o'clock he fell asleep, and in the morning another of the apples was missing. Then the second son was ordered to watch, and at midnight he too fell asleep. In the morning another apple was gone. Then the third son offered to keep watch, but the gardener at first would not let him, for fear some harm should come to him. However, at last he consented, and the young man laid himself under the tree to watch. As the clock struck 12, he heard a rustling noise in the air, and a bird came flying that was of pure gold, and as it was snapping at one of the apples with its beak, the gardener's son jumped up and shot an arrow at it. But the arrow did the bird no harm, only it dropped a golden feather from its tail and even flew away. The golden feather was brought to the king in the morning, and all the council was called together. Everyone agreed that it was worth more than all the wealth of the kingdom. But the king said, "One feather is of no use to me. I must have the whole bird." Then the gardener's eldest son set out and thought to find the golden bird very easily. And when he had gone but a little way, he came to a wood. And by the side of the wood, he saw a fox sitting. So he took his bow and made ready to shoot at it. Then the fox said, "Do not shoot me, for I will give you good counsel. I know what your business is, and that you want to find the golden bird. You will reach a village in the evening, and when you get there, you will see two inns opposite to each other, one of which is very pleasant and beautiful to look at. Go not in there, but rest for the night in the other. though it may appear to you to be very poor and mean." But the son thought to himself, "What can such a beast as this know about the matter?" So he shot his arrow at the fox, but he missed it, and it set up its tail above its back and ran into the wood. Then he went his way, and in the evening came to the village where the 2 inns were. And in one of these were people singing and dancing and feasting, but the other looked very dirty and poor. "I should be very silly," said he, "if I went to the shabby house and left this charming place." So he went into the smart house and ate and drank at his ease and forgot the bird and his country too. Time passed on, and as the eldest son did not come back, and no tidings were heard of him, the second son set out, and the same thing happened to him. He met the fox, who gave him the good advice, but when he came to the 2 inns, his eldest brother was standing at the window where the merry-making was, and called to him to come in. And he could not withstand the temptation, but went in, and forgot the golden bird and his country in the same manner. Time passed on again, and the youngest son too wished to set out into the wide world to seek for the golden bird. But his father would not listen to it for a long while, for he was very fond of his son, and was afraid that some ill luck might happen to him also, and prevent him from coming back. However, at last it was agreed he should go, for he would not rest at home. As he came to the wood, he met the fox, and he heard the same good counsel. But he was thankful to the fox, and did not attempt his life as his brothers had done. So the fox said, "Sit upon my tail, and you will travel faster." So he sat down, and the fox began to run, and away they went over stock and stone so quick that their hair whistled in the wind. When they came to the village, the son followed the fox's counsel, and without looking about him, went to the shabby inn and rested there all night at his ease. In the morning came the fox again, and met him as he was beginning his journey, and said, "Go straight forward till you come to a castle, before which lie a whole troop of soldiers fast asleep and snoring." Thank you, Mr. Pigeon, for following. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, there's a talking fox. I mean, he's giving good advice though, so far. Welcome to the cabin. How are you? I hope you are doing well. We were talking. Give 1 second. Let me restart the sentence. Go straight forward till you come to a castle, before which lie a whole troop of soldiers fast asleep and snoring. Take no notice of them, but go into the castle and pass on and on till you come to a room, where the golden bird sits in a wooden cage. Close by it stands a beautiful golden cage. But do not try to take the bird out of the shabby cage and put it into the handsome one, otherwise you will repent it. Then the fox stretched out his tail again, and the young man sat himself down, and away they went over stock and stone till their hair whistled in the wind. Before the castle gate all was the fox had said, so the son went in and found the chamber where the golden bird hung in a wooden cage, and below stood the golden cage. And the 3 golden apples that had been lost were lying close by it. Then thought he to himself, it will be a very droll thing to bring away such a fine bird in this shabby cage. So he opened the door and took hold of it and put it into the golden cage. But the bird set up such a loud scream that all the soldiers awoke, and they took him prisoner and carried him before the king. The next morning the court sat to judge him, and when all was heard, it sentenced him to die, unless he should bring the king the golden horse which could run as swiftly as the wind. And if he did this, he was to have the golden bird given him for his own. So he set out once more on his journey, sighing and in great despair, when on a sudden his friend the fox met him and said, "You see now what has happened on account of your not listening to my counsel. I will still, however, tell you how to find the golden horse. If you will do as I bid you, you must go straight on till you come to the castle where the horse stands in his stall. By his side will lie the groom fast asleep and snoring. Take away the horse quietly, but be sure to put the old leathern saddle upon him, and not the golden one that is close by it." Then the son sat down on the foxtail, and away they went over stock and stone till their hair whistled in the wind. All went right, and the groom lay snoring with his hand upon the golden saddle. But when the son looked at the horse, he thought it a great pity to put the leathern saddle upon it. "I will give him the good one," said he. "I am sure he deserves it." As he took up the golden saddle, the groom awoke and cried out so loud that all the guards ran in and took him prisoner, and in the morning he was again brought before the court to be judged, and was sentenced to die. But it was agreed that if he could bring thither the beautiful princess, he should live, and have the bird and the horse given him for his own. Then he went his way very sorrowful, but the old fox came and said, "Why did you not listen to me? If you had, you would have carried away both the bird and the horse. Yet will I once more give you counsel. Go straight on, and in the evening you will arrive at a castle. At 12 o'clock at night, the princess goes to the bathing house. Go up to her and give her a kiss, and she will let you lead her away. But take care you do not suffer her to go and take leave of her father and mother." Then the fox stretched out his tail, and so away they went over stock and stone till their hair whistled again. As they came to the castle, all was as the fox had said, and at 12 o'clock the young man met the princess going to the bath and gave her the kiss, and she agreed to run away with him, but begged with many tears that he would let her take leave of her father. At first he refused, but she wept still more and more, and fell at his feet, till at least he consented. But the moment she came to her father's house, the guards awoke, and he was taken prisoner again. Then he was brought before the king, and the king said, "You shall never have my daughter unless in 8 days you dig away the hill that stops the view from my window." Now this hill was so big that the whole world could not take it away, and when he had worked for 7 days and had done very little, the fox came and said, "Lie down and go to sleep. I will work for you." And in the morning he awoke, and the hill was gone. So he went merrily to the king, and told him that now that it was removed he must give him the princess. Then the king was obliged to keep his word, and went, and away went the young man and the princess. And the fox came and said to him, We will have all three, the princess, the horse, and the bird." "Ah," said the young man, "that would be a great thing, but how can you contrive it?" "If you will only listen," said the fox, "it can't be done. When you come to the king, and he asks for the beautiful princess, you must say, 'Here she is.' Then he will be very joyful, and you will mount the golden horse that they are to give you, and put out your hand to take leave of them, but shake hands with the princess last. Then lift her quickly onto the horse behind you, clap your spurs to his side, and gallop away as fast as you can." All went right. Then the fox said, "When you come to the castle where the bird is, I will stay with the princess at the door, and you will ride in and speak to the king. When he sees that it is the right horse, he will bring out the bird. But you must sit still and say that you want to look at it, to see whether it is the true golden bird, and when you get it into your hand, ride away." This too happened as the fox said. They carried off the bird, the princess mounted again, and they rode onto a great wood. Then the fox came and said, "Pray kill me, and cut off my head and my feet." But the young man refused to do it, so the fox said, "I will at any rate give you good counsel. Beware of two things: ransom no one from the gallows, and sit down by the side of no river." Then away he went. Well, thought the young man, it is no hard matter to keep the advice. He rode on with the princess till at last he came to the village where he had left his two brothers, and there he heard a great noise and uproar. And when he asked what was the matter, the people said, "Two men are going to be hanged." As he came nearer, he saw that the two men were his brothers, who had turned robbers. So he said, "Cannot they in any way be saved?" But the people said, "No, unless he would bestow all his money upon the rascals and buy their liberty." Then he did not stay to think about the matter, but paid what was asked, and his brothers were given up and went on with him towards their home. And as they came to the wood where the fox first met them, it was so cool and pleasant that the two brothers said, "Let us sit down by the side of the river and rest a while to eat and drink." So he said yes, and forgot the fox's counsel, and sat down on the side of the river. And while he suspected nothing, they came behind and threw him down the bank, and took the princess, the horse, and the bird, and went home to the king and their master, and said, "All this have we won by our labor." Then there was great rejoicing made. But the horse would not eat, the bird would not sing, and the princess wept. The youngest son fell to the bottom of the river's bed. Luckily, it was nearly dry, but his bones were almost broken, and the bank was so steep that he could find no way to get out. Then the old fox came once more and scolded him for not following his advice. Otherwise no evil would have befallen him. "Yet," said he, "I cannot leave you here, so lay hold of my tail and hold fast." Then he pulled him out of the river and said to him, as he got upon the bank, "Your brothers have set watch to kill you, if they find you in the kingdom." So he dressed himself as a poor man, and came secretly to the king's court, and was scarcely within the doors when the horse began to eat, and the bird to sing, and the princess left off weeping. Then he went to the king, and told him all his brother's roguery, and they were seized and punished. And he had the princess given to him again, and after the king's death he was heir to his kingdom. A long while after, he went to walk one day in the wood, and the old fox met him, and besought him with tears in his eyes to kill him, and cut off his head and feet. And at last he did so, and in a moment the fox was changed into a man and turned out to be the brother of the princess, who had been lost a great many years. Oh, that is very unexpected. I I paused in the middle because I was like, wait, what? Yeah, like exactly, like falling forward, saying like, what? Why the cutting his head off and head and feet part? I was like, oh my god, this is terrifying. But okay. Oh, I'm glad it's a happy ending. And then bad brothers, but everything worked out in the end. Yeah, it's like the fox was really trying to guide him, but he just kept like not listening until it actually happened. Yeah, it's the plot twist. Hi, Yalan. Hello. Happy 2 months. Thank you for subscribing or resubscribing or whatever. Or maybe you didn't. I don't know. But happy 2 months. 2 months of knowing me, maybe. The plot twist. Yeah, that was nice. I didn't expect that ending, but it was unexpectedly good. Yeah, you were right. There was witchcraft all along with the fox. It's a special talking fox. You were very right. Yeah, the part where the fox requested to have his like head and feet chopped off, I freaked out a little bit. I'm like, oh my god, that's not what I was expecting in this story. I mean, at the same time, it kind of, the ending explains why the fox was so insisting on helping the son, the youngest son, because the frog turns into a branch, chopped the fox feet and head chopped off. Yeah. I mean, I was a little confused by why the fox was so persistent on helping the youngest son, but I guess the ending explains it because he really wants to turn back into a human, so that's why he needs someone to keep going, or else this would all not happen. Oh, thank you for following for. I'm glad you're enjoying the stream. Well, I hope you are enjoying the stream. Thank you. It's very considerate of you to do it not during the story. I mean, even if you do it during the story, I wouldn't mind, but very thoughtful of you. Okay, what else do we have? Might do a shorter one for the next one to see how much energy or like how much voice I have. I guess because this is my first time doing this type of stream, I'm still trying to control my soft talking voice, so it's like doesn't go into like a raspy whisper and also not too loud. Trying to find the balance. Well, there's a story named The Straw, the Coal, and the Beam. We can try that. I don't know, it's short. I don't know. I guess with all the fairy tales, it's like I don't know what they're gonna lead to, but so far the stories are pretty like they are interesting, and they might be bizarre in the middle, but most of them have happy endings, so not too bad, at least not too terrifying. Let's start with the next one. The Straw, the Coal, and the Beam. In a village dwelt a poor old woman who had gathered together a dish of beans and wanted to cook them. So she made a fire on her hearth, and that it might burn the quicker, she lighted it with a handful of straw. When she was emptying the beans into the pan, one dropped without her observing it and lay on the ground beside a straw, and soon afterwards a burning coal from the fire leaped down to the two. Then the straw began and said, "Dear friends, from whence do you come here?" The coal replied, "I fortunately sprang out of the fire, and if I had not escaped by sheer force, my death would have been certain. I should have been burned to ashes." The bean said, "I too have escaped with a whole skin, but if the old woman had got me into the pan, I should have been made into broth without any mercy, like my comrades." "And would a better fate have fallen to my lot?" said the straw. "The old woman has destroyed all my brethren in fire and smoke. She seized 60 of them at once and took their lives. I luckily slipped through her fingers." "But what are we to do now?" said the coal. I think," answered the bean, "that as we have so fortunately escaped death, we should keep together like good companions, and lest a new mischance should overtake us here, we should go away together and repair to a foreign country." The proposition pleased the two others, and they set out on their way together. Soon, however, they came to a little brook, and as there was no bridge or foot-plank, they did not know how they were to get over it. The straw hit on a good idea and said, "I will lay myself straight across, and then you can walk over on me as on a bridge." The straw therefore stretched itself from one bank to the other, and the coal, who was on an ambitious disposition, tripped quite boldly onto the newly built bridge. But when she had reached the middle and heard the water rushing beneath her, she was after all afraid, and stood still and ventured no farther. The straw, however, began to burn, broke in 2 pieces, and fell into the stream. The coal slipped after her, hissed when she got into the water, and breathed her last. The bean, who had prudently stayed behind on the shore, could not but laugh at the event, was unable to stop, and laughed so heartily that she burst. It would have been all over with her, likewise, if, by good fortune, a tailor who was traveling in search of work had not sat down to rest by the brook. As he had a compassionate heart, he pulled out his needle and thread and sewed her together. The bean thanked him most prettily, but as the tailor used black thread, all beans since then have a black seam. That is a very bizarre story. I'm sorry if I didn't make it sound very interesting or gentle, because this is a very weird story. Let's see, so golden straw with 3 coals and a big bad bean. Well, unfortunately, it is not. Fortunately, unfortunately, I don't know. It's a weird story. They fell. The bean survived, but was like sold back together to a full bean. I don't know. Yeah, it was kind of a bad bean. It laughed at them dying. They were partners, but the bean wasn't very supportive. That's the part when I started reading, like, oh, the coal is saying something and the straw is saying something. I reckon something's a little off, but I kept going, and it was interesting. It's it's one of its kind. I mean, Yeah, it made very little sense to you. I mean, it made very little sense to me. I wonder what this story is trying to tell us. I wondered. Yeah, that. Colt and Straw had that forbidden love. And true, though, true, because they can easily catch fire if not properly put together. A lot of meaning in relation to the time period when it was written in. Maybe it was a long time ago, so not relevant. Yeah, that's true. So I guess it probably had something to do with the time it was written, not like right now. So I like the short ones. Let's try. There's another. I'll do a few more. And or maybe I'll do a middle-sized one. Let's. Moral of the story is don't laugh at. Yeah. That's true. Moral of the story is don't laugh at burnt relationships or you'll get bad karma and explode. Yeah, like the beat literally explode because he was laughing too hard at people dying. So yeah, don't laugh at people. Well said. Maybe I can read a middle-sized one. This one. So there's cat and mouse in partnership. I'm gonna learn a lot of weird fairy tales today. Let's check to do this one. Okay. Oh, excuse. I was trying to mute before I coughed, but then I didn't actually press on the right button. So I apologize for that sudden cough. Okay, so the next one is cat and mouse in partnership. A certain cat had made the acquaintance of a mouse and had said so much to her about the great love and friendship she felt for her, that at length the mouse agreed that they should live and keep house together. But we must make a provision for winter, or else we shall suffer from hunger, said the cat, and you, little mouse, cannot venture everywhere, or you will be caught in a trap some day. The good advice was followed, and a pot of fat was bought, and they did not know where to put it. At length, after much consideration, the cat said, I know no place where it will be better stored up than in the church, where no one dares take anything away from there. We still set it beneath the altar, and not touch it until we are really in need of it. So the pot was placed in safety. But it was not long before the cat had a great yearning for it, and said to the mouse, I want to tell you something, little mouse. My cousin has brought a little son into the world, and has asked me to be godmother. He is white with brown spots, and I am to hold him over the font at the christening. Let me go out today, and you look after the house by yourself. Yes, answered the mouse. By all means go, and if you get anything very good to eat, think of me. I should like a drop of sweet red christening wife myself. All this, however, was untrue. The cat had no cousin, and had not been asked to be godmother. She went straight to the church, stole to the pot of fat, began to lick at it, and licked the top of the fat off. and she took a walk upon the roofs of the town, looked out for opportunities, and then stretched herself in the sun and licked her lips whenever she thought of the pot of fat, and not until it was evening did she return home. "Well, here you are again," said the mouse. No doubt you have had a merry day." "All went off well," answered the cat. "What name did they give the child?" "Top off," said the cat quite coolly. "Top off," cried the mouse. "That is a very odd and uncommon name. Is it a usual one in your family?" "What does that matter?" said the cat. "It is no worse than Crumb Stealer, as your godchildren are called." Before long, the cat was seized by another fit of yarning. She said to the mouse, "You must do me a favor, and once for manage the house for a day alone. I am again asked to be godmother, and as the child has a white ring around its neck, I cannot refuse." The good mouse consented, but the cat crept behind the town walls to the church and devoured half the pot of fat. "Nothing ever seems so good as what one keeps to oneself," said she, and was quite satisfied with her day's work. When she went home, and the mouse inquired, "And what was the child christened?" "Half done," answered the cat. "Half done? What are you saying? I never heard the name in my life. I'll wager anything it is not in the calendar." The cat's mouth soon began to water for some more licking. "All good things go in threes," said she. "I am asked to stand godmother again. The child is quite black, only it has white paws, but with that exception, it has not a single white hair on its whole body. This only happens once every few years. You will let me go, won't you?" "Top off, half done," answered the mouse. "They are such odd names. They make me very thoughtful." "You sit at home," said the cat, "and your dark gray fur coat and long tail, and are filled with fancies. That's because you do not go out in the daytime." During the cat's absence, the mouse cleaned the house and put it in order, but the greedy cat entirely emptied the pot of fat. "When everything is eaten up, one has some peace," said she to herself, and well filled the fat, she did not return home till night. The mouse at once asked what name had been given to the third child. "It will not please you more than the others," said the cat. "He is called All Gone." "All Gone," cried the mouse. "That is the most suspicious name of all. I have never seen it in print. All Gone. What can that mean?" And she shook her head, curled herself up, and lay down to sleep. From this time forth, no one invited the cat to be godmother. But when the winter had come, and there was no longer anything to be found outside, the mouse thought of their provision, and said, "Come, cat, we will go to our pot of fat which we had stored for ourselves. We shall enjoy that." "Yes," answered the cat, "you will enjoy it as much as you would enjoy sticking that dainty tongue of yours out of the window." They set out on their way, but when they arrived, the pot of fat certainly was still in its place, but it was empty. "Alas," said the mouse, "now I see what has happened. Now it comes to light. You are a true friend. You have devoured all when you were standing godmother. First top off, then half done, then—" "Will you hold your tongue?" cried the cat. "One word more, and I will eat you too." "All Gone" was already on the poor mouse's lips. Scarcely had she spoken it before the cat sprang on her, seized her, and swallowed her down. Verily, that is the way of the world. Oh no. Well, here comes like the sad story. Oh no, bad cat, bad cat. Yeah, cat and mouse roommate doesn't sound good. It started okay. They were friends, but things. Good to know, Jack. Catherine in the 1400s. Is Grimm's fairy tales written in the 1400s? I don't really know. I know it's long time ago, but yeah, cats. Like, I am a cat person, but I do agree cats are jerks and they are assholes. They are very rude and not the most loving creature. And they are beautiful, but rude. Maybe it was printed in like 1800s. Yeah, I think the stories probably go way back, like way back. Okay, maybe one more. I'll find a short one. I don't know why it said small. I remember seeing one that's a shorter one. Well, this is like the famous one, but I don't think I'm reading it today because it's much longer. Hansel and Gretel. It's like the candy house story. Let's see. They kind of have that use of swivel with the frog and scorpion. You mean the cat and mouse one? I don't really remember the frog and scorpion story. I have very vague memories of. Maybe I should look it up. I don't really remember much, so. Okay, maybe one last one. Well, this one is called The Old Man and His Grandson. It is very short. But let's see. Hopefully it's not as bizarre and as sad as like the previous one. Get some water. The Old Man and His Grandson. There was once a very old man whose eyes had become dim, his ears dull of hearing, his knees trembled, and when he sat at the table he could hardly hold the spoon, and spilt the broth upon the tablecloth or let it run out of his mouth. His son and his son's wife were disgusted at this, so the old grandfather at last had to sit in the corner behind the stove, and they gave him his food in an earthenware bowl, and not even enough of it. And he used to look towards the table with his eyes full of tears. Once, too, his trembling hands could not hold the bowl, and it fell to the ground and broke. The young wife scolded him, but he said nothing and only sighed. Then they brought him a wooden bowl for a few halfpence, out of which he had to eat. They were once sitting thus when the little grandson of 4 years old began to gather together some bits of wood upon the ground. "What are you doing there?" asked the father. "I am making a little trough," answered the child, "for father and mother to eat out of when I am big." The man and his wife looked at each other for a while and presently began to cry. Then they took the old grandfather to the table, and henceforth always let him eat with them, and likewise said nothing if he did spill a little of anything. They are not very nice people. I've heard stories similar to this. I feel like each country, each culture has like a similar story of that one, but please treat the elders nicely. The scorpion needed to cross the stream and asked a frog to help the frog. and asked the frog to help. The frog said, "No, you'll kill me." The scorpion was like, "No, 'cause then I'll die." So the frog said, "Good point." But halfway across the stream, the scorpion stung the frog, and the frog was like, "Bro, what the fuck?" And the scorpion was like, "It's my nature." Yeah, okay, now. Yeah, that's very unfortunate. I feel like it happens in stories a lot. Like they're like, "Oh, I promise I wouldn't do this, I wouldn't do that," and at the end they still did, and be like, "Well, it's my nature. I couldn't help it. So please don't be that kind of person. Please don't be the scorpion, and please don't be the cat." That one was really, that one was really short. Is there one that's slightly longer? Kind of want to read one more. I'm just feeling it. I cheated on you, but I'm different now. And at the end be like, "But that's just how I am." Oh, I read The Fox and the Cat already. Well, there's The Fox and the Horse. It's slightly longer than The Fox and the Cat, and a middle-sized one. This would probably be the last one before I end the stream today. Okay. Last one for the night. The Fox and the Horse. A farmer had a horse that had been an excellent, faithful servant to him. But he was now grown too old to work, so the farmer would give him nothing more to eat, and said, "I want you no longer, so take yourself off out of my stable. I shall not take you back again until you are stronger than a lion." Then he opened the door and turned him adrift. The poor horse was very melancholy, and wandered up and down in the wood, seeking some little shelter from the cold wind and rain. Presently a fox met him. "What's the matter, my friend?" said he. "Why do you hang down your head and look so lonely and woe-begone?" "Ah," replied the horse, "justice and avarice never dwell in one house. My master has forgotten that I have done for him so many years, and because I can no longer work, he has turned me adrift, and says unless I become stronger than a lion, he will not take me back again. What chance can I have of that? He knows I have none, or he would not talk so." However, the fox bid him be of good cheer, and said, "I will help you. Lie down there, stretch yourself out quite stiff, and pretend to be dead." The horse did as he was told, and the fox went straight to the lion who lived in a cave close by, and said to him, "A little way off lies a dead horse. Come with me, and you may make an excellent meal of his carcass." The lion was greatly pleased, and set off immediately. And when they came to the horse, the fox said, "You will not be able to eat him comfortably here. I'll tell you what, I will tie you fast to his tail, and then you can draw him to your den, and eat him at your leisure." This advice pleased the lion, so he laid himself down quietly for the fox to make him fast to this horse. But the fox managed to tie his legs together, and bound all so hard and fast that with all his strength he could not set himself free. When the work was done, the fox clapped the horse on the shoulder and said, "Chip, Darwin, Jim. Then up he sprang and moved off, dragging the lion behind him. The beast began to roar and bellow, till all the birds of the wood flew away for fright. But the horse let him sing on, and made his way quietly over the fields to his master's house. "Here he is, master," said he. "I have got the better of him." And when the farmer saw his old servant, his heart relented, and he said, "Thou shalt stay in thy stable, and be well taken care of." And so the poor old horse had plenty to eat, and lived till he died. Well, that was interesting, but at least the ending isn't bad. I feel like a lot of the stories in here are like this, like they're bizarre in the middle, but at the end, it's not too bad. It's interesting, I don't know, but at least the horse, and also I guess for at the time, because resource is very limited, a lot of these are focused on, yeah, maybe the lion represented something, some sort of, I don't know, I'm not exactly sure. I was reading it and I was kind of lost in the middle, but I feel like, yeah, the horse represents the horse. I'm with you. I feel like, I guess it's for the time that these stories were written. A lot of them were focused on things like, oh, like something's old and, oh my god. Hi V, hi SVD. Oh my god, I was about to end stream soon, but maybe I will read a few more stories now. Oh my god, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, raiders. 68 just more fun. Hi SVD, how are you? Oh my god, thank you for the raid. How are you? Hope you guys are doing well. Hi SVD, how are you? So nice to see you. Let me give you the... Of course, thank you so much. Yeah, I was reading Grimm's fairy tale, and stories are weird. Yeah, these stories are weird. Wait, I don't remember if I need to. Oh, okay, there we go. Just did Thank you for. Oh, of course. Yeah, I was doing like a reading stream just for a Sunday night. It's my first time doing this, so I'm just trying things out. Hello. Welcome, raiders. My name is Barna. I usually talk a little louder than this. Is your voice low enough? It's okay, you guys can keep your volume. I'll be quiet. Oh, yeah, let me read. So, thank you, Jojo, for following. Thank you, Sangja, for following. And thank you, XS Disyncs. the horse dragged your cousin, the last story. Oh, and thank you, Leon, Casual Leon, for following. Welcome. Yeah, of course. Have a good night, SVD. And oh yeah, I keep forgetting. My name is Bana. Talk to you later. Have a good night, and thank you so much for the raid. I really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Oh, I mean, I don't really do like triggering kind of ASMR. This is my first time doing this. Oh, I think all the notifications are coming in now. Um, um, well, first of all, my name is Bana, and welcome to my cabin. Oh, and good night, good night, good night to those that are going to bed. Good night, good night. So, oh, by the way, I don't have a, what's that called? Discord set up yet, so I don't have that ready yet. So it's just me. I do have a Twitter. So if you guys want, you guys can find me on Twitter. I am pretty active there. My name is Bana, and I usually stream random weird indie games. And today is comfy bedtime story time. Exactly. Just like Falling Floor was saying. This is actually my first time doing the bedtime story stream. Kind of wanted to test it out before. I mean, I've wanted to do it for a while, but this is like my first time actually doing it. It's kind of like an impromptu stream, but I think it's going well so far. So if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna go grab just a little bit water before I continue, because now I think I will continue to read more stories now that I just got rated by V, and I want to use the opportunity to stream a little longer. So let me just get some water really quick. Oh my god. Okay, this is gonna give me a heart attack. Hello, hi, Sleepy Project. Thank you so much for the raid. Oh my god, this is and hello, and thank you so much for following. Thank you so much for the raid. Raid. Not so much for ASMR sensitive to sounds. Yeah, like people have different choices of content that they choose to watch, and it's perfectly fine. Thank you, Sleepy Project, for the raid and following. And hello, Rowboat Girly Man. Welcome to the cabin. 初见. Oh, well, first time watchers, welcome. My name is Bana, and you are doing ASMR too? That's nice. Let me give you a shout out. Okay. Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second. Welcome. Thank you. Oh, let me read this. Thank you, Dabas, for following. Thank you, Buraku Debo, for following. Thank you, Tum for following. Welcome. My name is Bana, and I am a plant girl VTuber that does variety streaming. So most of my streams are pretty comfy, but this is actually my first time trying a ASMR stream. Is the notification too loud though? Because like if so, then I will turn it off. But I don't have it here right now. I don't know why it's showing up, but I can turn it off. But welcome. It's just you have heightened sensitivity to certain sounds, like chewing, someone clicking their tongue. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, the notification sounds well balanced. That's good. Yeah, so Sometimes I do, most of the time I do game streamings, indie games. I play random puzzle games, and I am just trying out ASMR. Well, I also don't really know if this is categorized as ASMR, but more like cozy, soft reading stream. For the first time, and it seems to be going really well, and I am really honored to be rated by two people that are there's so many people here right now. But welcome. I hope you guys enjoy your stay at the cabin, and it's really nice to meet you all. And so thank you, Yakumo Yukari no Novsky. I don't know what language I should be pronouncing it, and Pony for following. What have I been reading? I was reading Grimm's fairy tale. I was reading some bizarre stories. they were kind of weird. They are interesting. I mean, there were a few normal ones, and I mean, I read Rapunzel. That one is a quite famous one. So and then there's a few other stories that I just read. Let's see. I just finished reading The Fox and the Horse, which I am very confused and don't really know what it's trying to tell me. But it's okay. I think that's just what fairy tales do. And thank you, Mars, for following. Welcome. Yeah, the Grimm's fairy tale is quite bizarre. I'm actually surprised that the original Rapunzel has a happy ending, because from what I recall from stories, a lot of them are if I'm recalling from like fairy tales, a lot of them have sad endings and not so happy. So usually that's the case, but it seems like there are quite a few of happy endings in the story. Yeah, there's one with a coal, a straw, and a bean, and the bean exploded after he laughed at the coal and the straw for falling into the river. And then, yeah, like cut the feet off a fox and you get a prince. Very wonderful stories to read on a Sunday night, I would say. I am learning more about the world. Religious parables, very bizarre happenings. Yeah, there's a lot of like witchcraft thingies involved, I would say. Oh, care package. Hydrate, stretch, and posture check. Okay, good idea. Okay, stretch. Oh, and thank you, Michelle Bean. Am I pronouncing it correctly? I hope I'm pronouncing your username correctly. Welcome to the... I almost said welcome to the bean. Welcome to the cabin. '90s point and click game solution. Have I read Caffeine? Yeah, I literally almost said welcome to the bean because we were talking about beans. Industrial society and its future. I have not. Let me write that down and I can look it up after. The thing is, I'm trying not to type too much during the stream because my keyboard is loud. Also, I need to get some water. My voice is dying. Industrial society and its future. And thank you, Erica Galindo, for following. Give me 1 second, really quick. I'm just gonna go grab some water because my voice will die if I don't get some water. Okay, worry not, I am back. Water is very close by. I just needed to fill up my cup. And Basiliasva, welcome. Thank you for following. And thank you, our Alliance Hydration Redeem. And thank you, Robo's Hydration Redeem. I have water. I will drink water. Wait, did I do a shop? Oh, someone just say, give me a second. I'm trying to read the chat. Oh, okay. I'm getting to the chat. Michelle's meme. First VTuber. Well, welcome to the VTuber community. My name is Vana. Oh yeah, I don't know. Did I introduce myself? My name is Vana. I think I did. So yeah. Welcome. Like, yeah, I am a VTuber. So if you are a new beginner in VTuber community, welcome. It's not that different. We stream, and the only difference is we use a live 2D model to represent us. So this is me. I am a plant girl, and I am doing well. I hope you guys are doing well too. Did I miss anything? I don't think so. Okay. Oh. The notification just went on and like also cut off. I'd also recommend The Prince of Milk by Excerpt B1A. I'll look it up. It's more philosophical in nature. If that's what you are into, you might enjoy it. I might look it up. I am actually thinking about like not like just like on stream reading stories, but I'm trying to pick up reading again because I haven't read for a while, but people around me have been reading, so I kind of want to go back to the habit of reading. Is industrial society and its future something, a story that I should not read, or is it some sort of meme or joke that I am not getting? It was a joke recommendation. Okay, then I didn't got it. The second one is okay. Well, thank you guys for clarifying it, or else I would not know. I guess if I look it up, I might realize it, but it's okay. Harmless jokes are fine, totally fine. Welcome. I keep saying welcome, and thank you. I still have to thank you so much for the raid. I think I did the. Sorry for the moving around. When you also, I don't remember if I did, so I'm just gonna do it again. Oh, you were probably doing some sort of ASMR or reading, as I think. I mean, sleepy project sounds nice. Do you do a lot of sleeping, like relaxing streams? That'd be nice. It's good to know. Okay, and while people are here, let me just. This is my Twitter, so Oh, you play FPS. That is very unexpected. But that's very cool. But yeah, like FPS. Oh, that's cool. I don't really play FPS because I get. Oh, I have like narcolepsy. Oh, thank you. I thank you for liking my design. Um, yeah, I mean, I didn't design it. I kind of adopted the model designed by Tekano-san, my papa. But I love the design and I hope you guys like it too. I'm glad you guys like it as well. Nice. Well, I hope you guys enjoy the reading and that this will be a nice unwind time before you start a new a new week. Lost my train of thought there. Yeah. Okay, let's see what else we're gonna read. I guess I can read something a little longer now that I have decided to stay for a little longer. I'm gonna go rest now. Good start to your week. You too, Sleepy Project, and once again, thank you so much for the raid. Have a good night. Good night, good night. And Jay Bush, good night, Bana and Shy. You weren't tired before, but now you're relaxed. Have a good stream. Thank you, and thank you for following. Have a good night. Welcome to the cabin, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Sweet dreams to those that are going to bed. I hope this brings you some peace and calm. Hope you have an amazing coming week. Okay, I think I know this story, but the golden goose, is it the one that I'm thinking of? I don't know. I'll just start reading it. Yeah, and good night to those that are going to bed. And thank you all so much for being here. I'm gonna continue reading. Oh, give me 1 second. Okay, just making sure I have the fireplace on repeat. Okay, the golden goose. There was a man who had 3 sons, the youngest of whom was called Dumpling, and was despised, mocked, and sneered at on every occasion. It happened that the eldest wanted to go into the forest to hew wood, and before he went, his mother gave him a beautiful sweet cake and a bottle of wine in order that he might not suffer from hunger or thirst. When he entered the forest, he met a little gray-haired old man who bade him good day and said, "Do give me a piece of cake out of your pocket and let me have a draught of your wine. I am so hungry and thirsty." But the clever son answered, "If I give you my cake and wine, I shall have none for myself. Be off with you." And he left the little man standing and went on. But when he began to hew down a tree, it was not long before he made a false stroke, and the axe cut him in the arm, so that he had to go home and have it bound up, and this was the little gray man's doing. After this, the second son went into the forest, and his mother gave him, like the eldest, a cake and a bottle of wine. The little old gray man met him likewise, and asked him for a piece of cake and drink of wine. But the second son, too, said sensibly enough, "What I give you will be taken away from myself. Be off." And he left the little man standing and went on. His punishment, however, was not delayed. When he had made a few blows at the tree, he struck himself in the leg, so that he had to be carried home. Then Dumpling said, "Father, do let me go and cut wood." The father answered, "Your brothers have hurt themselves with it. Leave it alone. You do not understand anything about it." But Dumpling begged so long that at last he said, "Just go then. You will get wiser by hurting yourself." His mother gave him a cake made with water and baked in the cinders, and with it a bottle of sour beer. When he came to the forest, the little old gray man met him likewise, and greeting him, said, "Give me a piece of your cake and a drink out of your bottle. I am so hungry and thirsty." Dumpling answered, "I have one cinder cake and sour beer. If that pleases you, we will sit down and eat." So they sat down, and when Dumpling pulled out his cinder cake, it was a fine sweet cake, and the sour beer had become good wine. So they ate and drank, and after that the little man said, "Since you have a good heart and are willing to divide what you have, I will give you good luck. There stands an old tree. Cut it down, and you will find something at the roots." Then the little man took leave of him. Dumpling went and cut down the tree, and when it fell, there was a goose sitting in the roots with feathers of pure gold. He lifted her up, and taking her with him, went to an inn where he thought he would stay the night. Now the host had 3 daughters, who saw the goose and were curious to know what such a wonderful bird might be, and would have liked to have one of its golden feathers. The eldest thought, "I shall soon find an opportunity of pulling out a feather," and as soon as Dumpling had gone out, she seized the goose by the wing, but her finger and hand remained sticking fast to it. The second came soon afterwards, thinking only of how she might get a feather for herself, but she had scarcely touched her sister than she was held fast. At last the third also came with the like intent, and the other screamed out, "Keep away! For goodness sake, keep away!" But she did not understand why she was to keep away. "The others are there," she thought. "I may as well be there too," and ran to them. But as soon as she had touched her sister, she remained sticking fast to her, so they had to spend the night with the goose. The next morning, Dumpling took the goose under his arm and set out. Without troubling himself about the 3 girls who were hanging onto it, they were obliged to run after him continually, now left, now right, wherever his legs took him. In the middle of the fields, the person met them, and when he saw the procession, he said, "For shame, you good-for-nothing girls! Why are you running across the fields after this young man? Is that seemly?" At the same time, he seized the youngest by the hand in order to pull her away, but as soon as he touched her, he likewise stuck fast, and was himself obliged to run behind. Before long the sexton came by and saw his master, the person running behind the 3 girls. He was astonished at this and called out, "Hi, your reverence, whither away so quickly? Do not forget what we have a christening today." And running after him, he took him by the sleeve, but was also held fast to it. Whilst the 5 were trotting thus, one behind the other, the 2 laborers came with hoes from the fields. The parson called out to them, and begged that they would set him and the sexton free. But they had scarcely touched the sexton when they were held fast, and now there were 7 of them running behind Dummling and the goose. Soon afterwards he came to a city where a king ruled who had a daughter who was so serious that no one could make her laugh. So he had put forth a decree that whoever should be able to make her laugh should marry her. When Dummling heard this, he went with this goose and all her train before the king's daughter. And as soon as she saw the 7 people running on and on, one behind the other, she began to laugh quite loudly, and as if she would never stop. Thereupon Dummling asked to have her for his wife, but the king did not like the son-in-law, and made all manner of excuses, and said he must first produce a man who could drink a cellarful of wine. Dummling thought of the little grey man, who could certainly help him. So he went into the forest, and in the same place where he had felled the tree, he saw a man sitting, who had a very sorrowful face. Dummling asked him what he was talking to heart so sorely, and he answered, I have such a great thirst, and cannot quench it. Cold water I cannot stand. A barrel of wine I have just emptied, but that to me is like a drop on a hot stone. There, I can help you, said Dummling. Just come with me, and you shall be satisfied. He led him into the king's cellar, and the man bent over the huge barrels, and drank till his loins hurt. And before the day was out, he had emptied all the barrels. Then Dummling asked once more for his bride. But the king was vexed that such an ugly fellow, whom everyone called Dummling, should take away his daughter, and he made a new condition. He must first find a man who could eat a whole mountain of bread. Dummling did not think long, but went straight into the forest, where in the same place there sat a man who was tying up his body with a strap, and making an awful face, and saying, I have eaten a whole ovenful of roast, but what good is that when one has such a hunger as I? My stomach remains empty, and I must tie myself up if I am not to die for hunger. At this Dummling was glad, and said, Get up and come with me. You shall eat yourself full. He led him to the king's palace, where all the flour in the whole kingdom was collected, and from it he caused a huge mountain of bread to be baked. The man from the forest stood before it, began to eat, and by the end of one day the whole mountain had vanished. Then Dummling for the 3rd time asked for his bride, but the king again sought a way out, and ordered a ship which could sail on land and on water. As soon as you come sailing back in it, said he, you shall have my daughter for wife. Dummling went straight into the forest, and there sat the little grey man to whom he had given his cake. When he heard what Dummling wanted, he said, Since you have given me to eat and to drink, I will give you the ship, and I do all this because you once were kind to me. Then he gave him the ship which could sail on land and water, and when the king saw that, he could no longer prevent him from having his daughter. The wedding was celebrated, and after the king's death, Dummling inherited his kingdom and lived for a long time contented with his wife. Well, the end. That was an interesting story. Be nice. Moral of the story, be nice. Okay, let me go through the chat. Michelle's Bean. Thank you for thinking I am a very sweet and lovely person. Thank you for that. And I too hope you have a wonderful Christmas. Happy holidays to you all. I mean, it's early. I'll still be around. So, I will probably have some projects for the holidays and Christmas. So yeah, look forward to them. I'm still planning on it, and thank you for being here. And okay, thank you Roka for following. Thank you Nuts for following, and thank you Sucking Tom Cruise's Toes for following. You have a very interesting name, but I mean he is pretty hot. So thank you, and welcome to the cabin. I hope you guys enjoy your stay here, and I hope you guys had a great weekend and getting ready for the new week. Whack. Okay. That was an interesting story, but yeah, my daughter is so miserable. If you make her laugh, you take her out of the palace. I feel like a lot of stories are like that. Be like, oh, the daughter, the princess is like so miserable, so sad, doesn't laugh or anything, and then be like, if anyone can make them happy. Actually, never mind. Yeah, change their mind. Hello, hello. Welcome. Is it pronounced Juan or pronounced Juan? Because I've met people with both, depending on where they're from. But welcome, the one. Ooh. Hope you guys are having a good night. I hope you guys are Juan. Okay, yeah, in that case, Juan, yes. Welcome. Okay, give me 1 second because I really need to use the bathroom really quick, but I will be back very soon. Oh, but before I go, thank you, Juan, for the following. Welcome to the cabin. I hope you enjoy your stay. And I am back. Oh yeah, well, I'm just gonna shamelessly plug my Twitter and chat again. You guys can find me there if you use Twitter. I am pretty active there. I usually post weird, random, life-related things on my Twitter. So, and for people that just got here, hello, my name is Bana. I am a plant girl VTuber. I do game streamings, and I just started trying out soft voice reading stream today, so I hope you guys are enjoying this. It's going surprisingly well. We've had a lot of new guests today, and I am very honored. Okay, I'm gonna see, and then gonna start a new story. And also don't forget to drink some water, and don't forget to stretch, posture check, and then make sure to take care of yourself. And if you're going to bed, good night and sweet dreams. What I am a plant, so it is very important to hydrate myself to keep my plants growing and healthy. And hello, Miss Breadloaf. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to the cabin. Apple tarts? Oh, are you talking about the apple tarts that I made? Is cannibalism to eat apple as a plant girl? I mean, I'm not eating the apple tree, so not exactly. But also, I'm not an apple, so it's part of the. It's. I don't think so. I hope it's not. I will have very limited things to eat if I cannot eat apples. Part of the Mother Nature. Yes, it's blessing from the Mother Nature, so it should be okay. You wanna be eating monkey? In that case, and thank you, Wayne, for following. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to the cabin. Okay. I'm just putting on some lip balm. It is very dry. Oh, stretch, hydrate. Okay, let me stretch. I need to stretch. Okay, stretch has been done. Thank you for the stretch redeem. I don't know why, but today the notifications are a little lagged. You love you love Mother Nature. That is why you don't eat anything that casts a shadow. That way I know Mother Nature won't be sad. Anything that casts a shadow, as in they create shadow, everything creates shadow though. If I'm not mistaken. Or maybe it's like something that I am missing. I am misunderstanding. I have very small brain and I do not understand words very correctly. So please do correct me if I am understanding things wrong. Dirt, mushrooms, even mushrooms create shadows if the sun is like at an angle. Yes, I am horribly emaciated. I do. So for chat people that in my chat that speaks Mandarin, 我会说普通话。我是在台湾长大的，所以我普通话就是中文是我的母语，所以如果有讲中文的观众，欢迎可以在聊天室里面打中文，也都我看得懂。I do speak Mandarin. It is my first language, actually. So welcome if you speak Mandarin, or if you know how to type Chinese, then you are more than welcome to chat in Chinese, because I do understand it. I'm fully fluent in Mandarin Chinese, so that's not a problem for me. And as for Japanese, I can read a little bit, and then I can understand a very, very limited one. So. you were looking for Mandarin in the translator, but it was just Chinese. I mean, if you're writing things out, Mandarin and Cantonese are the same. So, there's not a, I mean, there is Cantonese words, but they are very specific, and I don't think Google Translate translates things into Cantonese. Ah, I see you don't speak Mandarin. You're learning English right now. Well, good luck with language learning. I mean, technically English is my second language, although I started it at a very, very young age. It is technically my second language. My first language is Mandarin Chinese, since both my parents speak Mandarin Chinese, and that's what we use at home. And I am originally from Taiwan, so I use traditional Chinese. I can read simplified ones if you guys type in theirs. That's totally fine. I know. 现在我找到了现 The thing is, I actually don't really know how to read pinyin, but let me try. 现在我找到了你. Now I have found you. A 冰淇淋, yeah, 冰淇淋. Do you guys know what 冰淇淋 actually mean though? 冰淇淋 means ice cream. He was saying 现在我有冰淇淋 means I have ice cream now. I think it's probably translated enough that people probably know what it means already. It's a very interesting meme. Yeah. Yeah. my language, I am bilingual and I am learning Japanese. Not like super hard. Oh yeah, I can say the full sentence of 冰淇淋。现在我有冰淇淋2个礼拜以后，速度与激情9. I can sing the whole thing. I can't be too loud today, but I mean, as someone that speaks Mandarin, that clip is even funnier because if you're a Mandarin speaker, you know that sentence is just, I mean, it makes sense, but there's no point of him saying that at the time. It was for the Fast and Furious. But it's just like, what does it have to do with the ice cream? And he's like singing, be like 现在是音乐时间, which means it's like now it's music time, but no one actually say that. Okay, I tried learning Japanese through high school and into your 20s, but I gave up because there was no way I could afford to travel overseas and I lacked social skill. I mean, even if you don't travel overseas, depending on what you're into, some like I really want to learn Japanese because there are a lot of really a lot of Japanese VTubers that I really like, and I really want to be able to understand them. Whether there are like some even Tekano-san, who is my papa, my precious papa, who designed and made me. He is Japanese and he speaks a little bit of English, but not like a lot. So communicating with him is like doable, but we can only keep our conversations to a very limited extent. So if I actually know Japanese, I'll be able to communicate with him, which is something that I really want to do. And social skills, I am personally not a very sociable person, if that's even a word. I am very introverted and I can talk, but I am not the best at interacting with people IRL, and maybe that's why I am a VTuber. Spanish that I know. I mean hola. And my school, one of the staff always calls me mama. So I think that's an endearment for younger girls. Um, so hola and uno, dos, trois. I think that's one, two, three. If I am not butchering up the words, I am sorry. I have also tried to learn a little bit of Spanish, but I never really got a proper chance to do so. So I have very limited Spanish. And gracias, yes, gracias. Español. Trying to pick up more Spanish since I deal with customers who do not speak English well, if at all. Spanish is especially if you live in the North America, Spanish is very, very useful. Like a lot of people speak Spanish and it comes in handy when interacting with people, whether it's for school, for work, or for just existing. Spanish and Espanol. Yeah, it never hurts to learn. Hi, Yuzu, how are you? Welcome, welcome. Yeah, and interesting fact, my parents, Bon Papa and Bon Mama, both speak Japanese fluently. And I am the only person that doesn't speak the language. They are not very good language teachers, so I did not learn the language from them because they speak Mandarin Chinese to me instead of using Japanese. So oh, that's true. Kind of go north, it's English, keep going, it's friend, keep going, it's in your. That's true, that's true. I guess in the US, it's Spanish is very widely, commonly used. And then there are French people, French using people in Canada, and Inuit if we go even north to like near Alaska, I guess. 你叫什么名字？我叫 Barna. My name is Barna. Picking it up as you go, very informal, so I often forget in the more complex sentences. I mean, the thing about language learning is that while grammar is important and vocabs are important, the most important thing about it is to communicate with other people. And why does it feel like it is my fireplace is being a lot louder than it was? Okay, I think it's just like a few cracklings. Okay, it's important to be able to communicate with people. So don't be too scared and don't be too anxious about using it. Yeah, I hit a wet log. I don't know why all of a sudden it's being very loud. I think it was a lot quieter earlier. I hope it doesn't bother you guys. If it does, please do let me know. Well, like I said, this is my first time doing the ASMR, so I am really just setting things up a lot, so we're learning as we go. Learning English in the university right now, trying to practice more. It's hard to start learning a language, but as you go it gets a little easier. My Japanese has improved over time, even for just reading. My speaking ability sucks because I don't really use it to talk to anyone. My listening and my reading has improved quite a bit over time because I am so into weeb culture. I am such a weeb, and I am listening to like VTubers that I like and trying to read things, read their tweets and stuff. So my Japanese improved because of that. Yeah, honestly, a lot of English speakers in the US can't properly speak the language. I've been learning this language for almost my whole life and I still can't speak it properly. So don't worry. Like, we don't, as like close to native speaker, I don't speak English properly. I make mistakes, I mispronounce things, I use it here and there. So don't worry. And I probably still have an accent too, so it's really, oh, nothing. I was trying not to burp. So my accent is mild. Well, thank you for saying that. I know it's mild. I think it's just, it's a combination of a lot of things, I would say. So it's close to native, but I think sometimes it'll come out when I'm saying certain things. It comes out. Okay, let's see if there's another story we would like to read. Is your first time doing ASMR? It is. It is my first time doing ASMR. My first time doing a soft reading stream. Oh, notice younger people have a hard time speaking because text lingo and shortcuts in language. Exactly. That's true. If you text people, if you learn everything through online, like internet, social media, it can be very hard because people don't really talk properly online. I don't too. I use like abbreviations a lot, acronyms, slangs online, and those are not the proper way of language learning. So it's definitely something that's making language learning hard too. Yeah, you leave out the first word or letter and then you don't use subjects. You kind of just say things in the middle out of nowhere. People would understand it if they're already native speakers and using the internet, but if you're a new learner, it can be hard to understand what people are trying to express. I mean, learning informal and learning slangs is definitely important, I would say, in in the middle of like among all things, it's like crucial for day-to-day life because if you speak like a textbook, it would be very weird to other people. I mean, people would understand you, but it's gonna be way too formal for people to interact with you casually. Usually it's like people will treat you as friends, but you might be talking to them in a very formal way. Then it would be something that people would probably just be a little confused. So but learning the formal way is definitely something that doesn't go wrong. It's definitely the start of the beginning. Okay, let's find the next story to read. Maybe this one? There's another about King's son or something. Let's read the next one. The 12 Huntsmen. Okay, let me drink some water before I continue. Okay, next story. The 12 Huntsmen. There was once a king's son who had a bride whom he loved very much. And when he was sitting beside her and very happy, news came that his father lay sick unto death, and desired to see him once again before his end. Then he said to his beloved, I must now go and leave you. I give you a ring as a remembrance of me. When I am king, I will return and fetch you. So he rode away, and when he reached his father, the latter was dangerously ill and near his death. He said to him, Dear son, I wish to see you once again before my end. Promise me to marry as I wish. And he named a certain king's daughter who was to be his wife. The son was in such trouble that he did not think what he was doing, and said, Yes, dear father, your will shall be done. And thereupon the king shut his eyes and died. When therefore the son had become proclaimed king, and the time of mourning was over, he was forced to keep the promise which he had given his father, and caused the king's daughter to be asked in marriage. And she was promised to him. His first betrothed heard of this, and fretted so much about his faithfulness that she nearly died. Then her father said to her, Dearest child, why are you so sad? You shall have whatsoever you will. She thought for a moment and said, Dear father, I wish for 11 girls exactly like myself in face, figure, and size. The father said, If it be possible, your desire shall be fulfilled. And he caused a search to be made in his whole kingdom until 11 young maidens were found who exactly resembled his daughter in face, figure, and size. When they came to the king's daughter, she had 12 suits of huntsmen's cloths made, all alike. And the 11 maidens had to put on the huntsman's clothes, and she herself put on the 12th suit. Thereupon she took her leave of her father and rode away with him, and rode to the court of her former betrothed, whom she loved so dearly. Then she asked if he required any huntsmen, and if he would take all of them into his service. The king looked at her and did not know her, but as they were such handsome fellows, he said, Yes, and that he would willingly take them. And now they were the king's 12 huntsmen. The king, however, had a lion which was a wondrous animal, for he knew all concealed secret things. It came to pass that one evening he said to king, You think you have 12 huntsmen? Yes, said the king, they are 12 huntsmen. The lion continued, You are mistaken, they are 12 girls. The king said, That cannot be true. How will you prove that to me? Oh, just let some peas be strewn in the antechamber, answered the lion, and then you will soon see. Men have a firm step, and when they walk over peas, none of them stir. But girls trip and skip and drag their feet, and the peas roll about. The king was well pleased with the counsel, and caused the peas to be strewn. There was, however, a servant of the king's who favored the huntsmen. When he heard that they were going to be put to this test, He went to them and repeated everything and said, "The lion wants to make the king believe that you are girls." Then the king's daughter thanked him and said to her maidens, "Show some strength and step firmly on the peas." So next morning, when the king had the 12 huntsmen called before him, and they came into the antechamber when the peas were lying, they stepped so firmly on them and had such a strong, sure walk that no one of the peas either rolled or stirred. Then they went away again, and the king said to the lion, "You have lied to me. They walk just like men." The lion said, "They have been informed that they were going to be put to the test, and have assumed some strength. Just let 12 spinning wheels be brought into the antechamber, and they will go to them and be pleased with them, and that is what no man would do." The king liked the advice and had the spinning wheels placed in the antechamber. But the servant, who was well disposed to the huntsmen, went to them and disclosed the project. So when they were alone, the king's daughter said to her 11 girls, "Show some constraint and do not look around at the spinning wheels." And next morning, when the king had his 12 huntsmen summoned, they went through the antechamber and never once looked at the spinning wheels. Then the king again said to the lion, "You have deceived me. They are men, for they have not looked at the spinning wheels." The lion replied, "They have restrained themselves." The king, however, would no longer believe the lion. The 12 huntsmen always followed the king to the chase, and his liking for them continually increased. Now it came to pass that once, when they were out hunting, news came that the king's bride was approaching. When the true bride heard that, it hurt her so much that her heart was almost broken, and she fell fainting to the ground. The king thought something had happened to his dear huntsman, ran up to him, wanted to help him, and drew his glove off. Then he saw the ring which he had given to his first bride. When he looked in her face, he recognized her. Then his heart was so touched that he kissed her, and when she opened her eyes, he said, "You are mine, and I am yours, and no one in the world can alter that." He sent a messenger to the other bride, and entreated her to return to her own kingdom, for he had a wife already, and someone who had just found an old key did not require a new one. Thereupon the wedding was celebrated, and the lion was again taken into favor, because, after all, he had told the truth. That, again, is a very interesting, weird, bizarre story that I don't know if I like that guy. Well, that is not very nice. I don't is it considered a happy ending? I don't know. Okay, let me catch up with chat. Pick up cursing in Japanese. I don't really know cursing in Japanese. I mean, I know how to call people stupid, but that's pretty much it. Yeah, dude promised to multiple girls. An icky enemy. I mean, if he's in the anime, he can probably have his own harem, so it wouldn't be as big of a problem. About this line is that it can freaking talk. Oh, we have several stories that have talking animals already. At this point, I'm kind of used to Grimm's fairy tales having talking animals. We have cats that talk, mouse that talks. I mean, we have coal that talks. They're not even animals anymore. And there are several lions. Just like Falling Four was saying, why are there so many lions in Germany? Are there actually that many lions in Germany? I wonder. I don't really know. Witchcraft, yeah. I know, the lion is damn sexist. Like, I don't. Okay, okay. As guys, like, I don't know you guys, but um, I don't think. Okay, it's stepping on those peas are kind of like stepping on Legos. A girl cannot do it. A woman cannot do it. I doubt a man can do it without blinking an eye. It's not like that. That is just sexist. Lion shakes his teeth. Lion is a symbol for some other person, maybe, but I don't know. For them, they really like to use animals in the fairy tales. It's just how it has been for the for the time being. Tried to girl now to give her spinning wheels. What kind of spinning wheels are we talking about here? Are we talking? I don't really know what kind of spinning wheels they're talking about. I mean, I wouldn't be attracted by spinning wheels, but they like well, people can like whatever they like, so it's okay. European big cats, yeah, big cats, big European cats. I mean, honestly, if you want to keep your girlfriend away from the ice cream, scattering peas around the freezer would still work in modern days. I wouldn't be able to walk over those peas if someone scattered peas all over the floor. It would take me some time to clean up before I can access the fridge and freezer. Oh, the ones making yarn or wool. Oh, the spinning wheel from Sleeping Beauty. That makes sense. That I would. That. Thank you for explaining. Yeah, that would make sense. Makes sense as in for the time, for the era they are in, not for the be attracted by spinning wheels. Please don't give spinning wheels to people in modern society. I do really want a sewing machine though, but that's just me. I really like crafting things. I cannot resist making thread. I'd assume pun intended. This lion learned from Ben Shabibo. Who is Ben Shabibo? You guys will soon realize that I have very low knowledge on a lot of things just in general. I have very limited knowledge to the world that to the internet world, to the pop culture and all that. I do know some memes though. If they're well known enough, common enough, famous enough, then I might know them. I might read one more story and might call it a day there, because I do still have something that I am going to attend to in the morning, and originally I was gonna end stream. Do not learn about it. Okay, so it's probably good that I don't know. I have been in my cabin for a very long time that I don't really know what's going on outside, so I guess it's a blessing and a curse, but honestly, I feel like when I'm talking to people, most people will tell me it's better that I don't know. So maybe I'm not missing out. Okay, why don't we just... I envy your life. I mean, I'm missing out some things. Sometimes when people talk about things, I am very out of the loop. Oh, and thank you, Gray. How do you is it Gravenart? I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, Gravenart, for following. Well, I welcome to the cabin, but I know you have been talking, so I hope you are enjoying your stay here. I hope you guys are enjoying the stream. I'm having a lot of fun today. This is it. I don't actually live in a log cabin, unfortunately. I do really want to. Gravy. Okay, nice to meet you, Gravy. I don't actually live in a log cabin, although I really do want to. Rural life. I can't actually say I aspire to live in a rural life, but I do enjoy the quietness of being in a forest. So I feel like just whenever I am in my the place that I live in, my apartment, I feel like I am in my own cabin. It's my own place, and I do whatever I want to do. So, I mean, like I said, I like fireplaces. Ah, thank you. A Mandarin speaking plantilating is my honor. Thank you. I'm trying to nod. Thank you, thank you. And yeah, I mean, I like fireplaces. I like the forest. I like wood. I like cabins. They're very cozy. So that's why I decided to make my own place a cabin, because it is what I want to bring to my audiences. Please enjoy your chai. Chai is amazing. I love chai. It's so warm. It's very soothing. It's spicy but soothing. It's very calming. I love it. Yes, please do be cozy whenever you are watching my stream. That is my pleasure, and that is why I'm here. Please be cozy. And let's see. So I just saw another story, and I think it's like Seven Raven or something. The Seven Ravens. So I'm probably gonna do that. I mean, we've been doing weird animals so far, so why don't we just end it with another weird animal, probably talking animal story to end it the day. I think that would be nice. Okay. Edgar Allan Poe, of course. Of course, of course. I mean, he has short stories. I know people also read his stories, so maybe I can do it next time. Not gonna lie, whenever I listen to streams that are reading Edgar Allan Poe, I fall asleep very quickly. I guess because of his word choice and how he describes things is not like common. I don't know, just like I just always fall asleep. I guess because sometimes I don't understand the word. I don't really know what the story is going on, and they're soothing and people talking in nice voices. And then I just fall asleep to Edgar Allan Poe very often. So maybe I should do that next time, and you guys will fall asleep, and that would be my goal. How's it going? It's going great. We've had a lot of newcomers today, and I am having a lot of fun reading stories. Yeah, your old English I do not understand and cannot comprehend and would fall asleep. The audio stories I listen to are mostly old horror stories. Lovecraft, Algernon Blackwood, Ambrose Bierce, among others. Lovecraft is another classic one. I've never read anything, but it's also something that I know is like very popular. And also, Tim, how are you doing? Thank you for coming. We're about to read our last story, The Seven Ravens, to continue our animals, animal adventures, the talking animals. Selective with Lovecraft, even for his time he was reading. That's not a very good thing. So yeah, that's probably something to be aware of if I ever decide to read his work. So thanks for letting me know. Okay. Just don't ask Lovecraft about his cat's name. Why? Is it a joke or something? He was a bundle of psychos in the shape of a man. It was it. I mean, honestly, from the work that he has been produced, it is probably, like the work that he has written, it's kind of like, pretty obvious that he is a very, unique person, let's just to be say. Not the cat? What about the cat? Should I look it up after stream? I might look it up after stream to gain bizarre knowledge or cursed knowledge, but if it's something that I should not be talking about on the stream, I will not inquire further. I will probably look it up, honestly. The fact that you guys are mentioning it, I will look it up, but I will keep quiet right now. Do not. Yeah, so I'm not gonna talk about it right now. I feel like it's probably not a good thing, so it's okay. But thank you guys for letting me know that it's not something appropriate to be talking about here. So I will look it up at my own leisure time and curse myself with inappropriate knowledge. Okay, here we go. The Seven Ravens. There was once a man who had 7 sons, and last of all 1 daughter. Although the little girl was very pretty, she was so weak and small that they thought she could not live, but they said she should at once be christened. So the father sent one of his sons in haste to the spring to get some water, but the other 6 ran with him. Each wanted to be first at drawing the water, and so they were in such a hurry that all let their pitchers fall into the well. And they stood very foolishly looking at one another and did not know what to do, for none dared to go home. In the meantime, the father was uneasy and could not tell what made the young men stay so long. Surely, said he, the whole 7 must have forgotten themselves over some game of play. And when he had waited still longer that they did not come, he flew into a rage and wished them all turned into ravens. Scarcely had he spoken these words when he heard a croaking over his head, and looked up and saw 7 ravens as black as coal flying round and round. Sorry as he was to see his wish so fulfilled, he did not know how what was done could be undone, and comforted himself as well as he could for the loss of his 7 sons with his dear little daughter, who soon became stronger and every day more beautiful. For a long time she did not know that she had ever had any brothers, for her father and mother took took care not to speak of them before her. But one day, by chance, she heard the people about her. Speak of them. Yes, said they, she is beautiful indeed, but still, 'tis a pity that her brothers should have been lost for her sake. Then she was much grieved, and went to her father and mother, and asked if she had any brothers, and what had become of them. So they dared not longer hide the truth from her, but said it was the will of heaven, and that her birth was only the innocent cause of it. But the little girl mourned sadly about it every day, and thought herself bound to do all she could to bring her brothers back, and she had neither rest nor ease, till at length one day she stole away, and set out into the wide world to find her brothers, wherever they might be, and free them, whatever it might cost her. She took nothing with her but a little ring which her father and mother had given her, a loaf of bread in case she should be hungry, a little pitcher of water in case she should be thirsty, and a little stool to rest upon when she should be weary. Thus she went on, and journeyed till she came to the world's end. Then she came to the sun, but the sun looked much too hot and fiery, so she ran away quickly to the moon. But the moon was cold and chilly, and said, I smell flesh and blood this way. So she took herself away in a hurry and came to the stars. And the stars were friendly and kind to her, and each star sat upon his own little stool. But the morning star rose up and gave her a little piece of wood, and said, If you have not this little piece of wood, you cannot unlock the castle that stands on the glass mountain, and there your brothers live. The little girl took the piece of wood, rolled it up in a little cloth, and went on again until she came to the glass mountain, and found the door shut. Then she felt for the little piece of wood, but when she unwrapped the cloth, it was not there, and she saw she had lost the gift of the good stars. What was to be done? She wanted to save her brothers, and had no key of the castle of the glass mountain. So this faithful little sister took a knife out of her pocket and cut off her little finger that was just the size of the piece of wood she had lost, and put it in the door and opened it. As she went in, a little dwarf came up to her and said, What are you seeking for? I seek for my brothers, the 7 ravens, answered she. Then the dwarf said, My masters are not at home, but if you will wait till they come, pray step in. Now the little dwarf was getting their dinner ready, and he brought their food upon 7 little plates, and their drink in 7 little glasses, and set them upon the table, and out of each little plate their sister ate a small piece, and out of each little glass she drank a small drop, but she let the ring that she had brought with her fall into the last glass. On a sudden she heard a fluttering and croaking in the air, and the dwarf said, Here come my masters. When they came in, they wanted to eat and drink, and looked for their little plates and glasses, then said one after the other, Who has eaten from my little plate? And who has been drinking out of my little glass? Ko, well I ween, mortal lives have this way been. When the 7th came to the bottom of his glass and found there the ring, he looked at it and knew that it was his father's and mother's, and said, Oh, that our little sister would but come, then we should be free. When the little girl heard this, for she stood behind the door all the time and listened, she ran forward, and in an instant all the ravens took their right form again, and all hugged and kissed each other and went merrily home. The end. That is... Don't cut your fingers. And also, with the fact that They could so easily be saved. They could have done this so much earlier. Let's see. Okay, how do you drop 7 pictures in the well? I know, right? That's a lot you figure after that. They thought. Yeah, she really did cut off her fingers for her brothers. I mean, that's dedication. I don't know if it's the right thing to do, but who am I to judge? I wish my sister was that nice. Please don't ask your sister to cut off her fingers for you. Please don't do that. Yeah, so, well, who am I to judge? They went merrily home. They hugged and kissed. Yeah, that is very interesting. And the fact that they just turn into ravens when their dad is like, oh, I hope they turn into ravens. But then it's so much easier if they just went and find them, bring the rings, and they would easily become like humans again. But they waited so long, so long, and never mentioned that the brothers even existed. Yeah, and I mean, indirectly, she lost her fingers because of dad. Yeah, what is it? Like, the parents didn't even bother to find them. They're just like, oh, okay, so they turned into Raven, and our daughter will now live. So let's just pretend that we never had those 7 sons and live happily ever after. Yeah, they're not very nice parents, I would say. Yeah, the girl was their favorite. I mean, the girl was. The thing is, they've had the sons for a much longer time than the daughter. But I guess they really wanted a daughter, so. I was going to find it, and I just forgot. Pretty reasonable explanation. Yeah, and then it's just been a few years, and then the kid grew up. Yeah, I kind of forgot. Sorry about that. Was an honest mistake. My God. Yeah, what are they gonna do after the son went back? But I guess that's not part of the story anymore, so we don't really know. We're good. We're cool. It's all good. Yeah, that would probably be the last story. Let's see if anyone is also reading a story or chilling. Yeah, it's gonna be an awkward family reunion for sure. For sure. I don't even know how they're gonna explain this. Hold on. Let's see. Hold on, give me a second. Trying to look for. Wait. Trying to find something that's suitable for late night or sleeping for you guys to go to after this. I know the dwarf is just left alone after all the ravens left. I mean, can they bring him with them? That'd be nice. Oh. I'm trying to find something. Take those parents to court. I mean, if this is like what we were talking about, it's from the 1400s. I guess they don't really care about this that much at the time, which is a shame, but it was what it was. It's not even it is what it is. It was what it was. It was a long time ago. Let's see. I don't know if anyone's still streaming right now. I'm trying to see because I don't want to wake people up. A lot of people are replaying VODs. I mean, there's another. Because like I said, this is my first time doing ASMR stream. I don't really know who to rate, so I am trying to figure out what I should do after this. So like some people are what's that called? Replaying their VODs. I mean, we can still do that. It's just I would rather rate someone that is actually live, so it's a little bit more interactive. Oh, I think someone is also doing a reading. Let's go rate her. I don't know them, but let's just go see. Okay. Well, before I do that, thank you all so much for coming today. I really enjoyed it. Well, from people's response, I think I will definitely do this again. And it was, yeah, likewise, it was really nice meeting you, and I am glad that we had cozy atmosphere with weird ass stories. That was a really fun ride, and it was a pleasure meeting you all, and thank you all so much for being here today. I hope you guys all have a wonderful night or morning or wherever you are, and have an amazing week to come. And then I will see you guys again soon, sometime this week, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye bye. Okay, I'm gonna raid. I'm just gonna create the raid and then end the stream. Thank you all so much for coming today. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Okay, bye bye. Hope the ending BGM isn't too loud. I'll turn it off. Let me make it very quiet. Okay, bye bye. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good night.